Hey people, it is Saturday, January the 4th. Currently 3:18 p.m. and about -3 Celsius, but feeling more like -13 with the wind chill. Toronto's being bathed in a bath of frigid Arctic air for the last couple of days and continuing on for another week or so, according to the forecast. But a complete lack of snow, as you can see. I'm currently on Sherbourne Street, walking north, just passing Allen Gardens here on the left. And my eventual destination is a Shoppers Drug Mart where I'm going to go and pick up some protein powder. But I thought I'd make a little walking adventure out of it, so I'm going to head north up Sherbourne, and then eventually I'll swing westward over to Jarvis Street and go south down Jarvis, and making my way to the Shoppers Drug Mart at Carlton and Yonge to end things off. So it'll be a downtown Eastside frigid weather walk today. Sherbourne and Jarvis Street are two streets on the east side of downtown that have gone through many changes over the years and have had various time periods when they were not regarded in the best ways, and that continues on to present day, really. Sherbourne Street in particular. At one time, the two streets were known for prostitution and regarded as something of a red light district. But I think you'll find that that doesn't really exist anymore in the same way.
You mean the planning I knew?
No,
But what do you expect at it?
No, I mean, did you know, like, you knew about that?
And that was always much more of a summertime activity, I think, even back in those days.
Alex, shut the fuck up.
I just wanted to try and get out today and do some sort of walk before it got dark. I'm going to walk past the Phoenix Concert Hall here. It got a 1-year reprieve. It was supposed to be closing around the beginning of 2025 to make way for a redevelopment, but I think that has been put off by a year to give them more time to try and find a new venue to relocate to. Somewhere else around downtown. This Low-rise office building is also part of that redevelopment proposal. For, you guessed it, a tall residential tower. See, there are protected bike lanes here on Sherbourne. These were installed after the bike lanes that used to be on Jarvis were removed after Rob Ford became mayor of Toronto. And Jarvis Street was reverted back to its regular configuration. And the agreement was, if they removed the bike lanes on Jarvis, they would build new bike lanes here on Sherbourne, which they did. And these ones are actually nicer than the ones that were on Jarvis. The ones on Jarvis weren't really protected, they were just painted lines on the street. I think these were some of the first proper protected bike lanes to be built in the city, actually. And of course, now all these years later, Rob's brother Doug is embarking on a plan to tear up bike lanes around the city. Must be something in the blood with that family, obviously. Sherbourne Street is a curious mix of some old historic buildings, some modern buildings, some new condos. Not much in the way of retail, though. And some old historic homes also still line the street. Most of the retail is at the base of residential buildings. Public library branch here for St. Jamestown. And the Wellesley Community Center, also serving St. Jamestown community, which is all these tall 1960s era slab apartment buildings. See some of the retail offerings here. I don't think anything's going on at Art City these days. Dollar Print seems to be closed down as well. And I never even got a chance to go there. Fresco, I do go there sometimes. There's another Fresco a bit closer that I go to a lot more often though. And this wind is kicking up something fierce right now. It's brutally cold and unpleasant. Got a nice mix of things to choose from here, including a roti shop. And of course, Tim Hortons. There's the old Isabella Hotel. Kind of an interesting building. There's this tower portion here. Never actually looked into if that is actually still a functioning hotel, like, or if it's more just like a place to live in these days. Probably looked a lot better before they covered it up in this stucco. Find some old pictures to see what it used to look like. And a tall new condo tower. There'll be a series of towers of similar height, if not taller, popping up all around this area in the coming years, including right here on this stretch of boarded up old historic homes here. And that construction site across the street. The tower's just getting underway there. "69 stories. I think these old homes will be preserved though, or partially preserved as part of that redevelopment. I think that used to be an egg smart before this development began here. They tore down a few other old buildings that were beside this one. That one will be retained. If you go back in time on Street View, you can see what it used to look like here on this corner, as well as this corner before this development got underway. Big changes all around this area. This is a very good restaurant here, Maison Selby, in an old historic mansion. Tower rising above. Same deal right next door. Another old mansion there. almost at Bloor Street, so I'm just going to head west along Bloor over to Ted Rogers Way, which becomes Jarvis Street, and then we'll head south. And we'll go back down through the east side. Both Jarvis and Sherbourne are not really popular streets for walking, with a lot to attract pedestrians, generally speaking, unless you like looking at some of the old historic buildings, especially on Jarvis. I think on the east side, the popular streets that have lots of restaurants and retail are Church Street, particularly in the village, and Parliament Street, which is the next street further east from Sherbourne, next major street. But this is Bloor we're currently on now. New Canopy Hotel. Oops, I almost ended my video there. Gotta watch where my thumb goes when I'm panning. Got bulky camera holding hand here because it's got a rather bulky glove, so it's easy for my thumb to hit a button it's not supposed to hit if I'm not too careful. So I gotta keep this hand warm, keeping it out here in the elements. Torontonians walk pretty fast most of the time, but on cold days like this, it's kind of funny to see some people really picking up the pace because they just want to get back home or wherever they're heading to get in and out of the cold. I admit I probably walk a little bit faster for the same reason. And it also generates more body heat. I'm not one to jog though, I'll just do a brisk walk. And we've reached Ted Rogers Way. So let's head south. It'll eventually become Jarvis Street. This stretch is called Ted Rogers Way because this is where the Rogers head office is located, in several buildings around the area, but the main head office is right up ahead. And Jarvis Street is quite a bit more built up than Sherbourne, with towers. And despite its really wide traffic lanes here, like there's 5 lanes of traffic, the street is generally a bit more pleasant to walk along than I would say than Jarvis or than Sherbourne is. It has a lot more of the old historic mansions still standing. Here's Rogers' head office. Let's cross here. This is an awkward intersection for a pedestrian. This is Charles Street. One of the most bizarre looking office buildings in the city. Jarvis is home to the infamous Hooker Harvey's, which was known as a bit of a gathering spot for ladies of the night back in the day. That's down at Gerrard, so we're not actually going to go quite that far. We're only going to go as far south as Carlton. There's Casey House, occupying one of the old historic mansions. That was, I think, Canada's first AIDS hospice. Looking over towards Yonge Street, see all the tall condo towers that now line that part of Yonge Street. Looking back towards Sherbourne Street where we were earlier.
It's still here. I hate it.
And a bunch of the old mansions still standing here. The Rundle House. think a lot of these are now being used for other purposes. This one seems to be divided up into apartments. I don't think any of them are still just a single family residence as they used to be. This one's particularly awesome looking. It's the Jarvis Mansion events venue now. And that one is, of course, the famous Keg Mansion. We're at Wellesley, on the edge of the Church Wellesley Village. Church Street, as I mentioned, is the next lively street over to the west. At Maitland. Some more nice old mansions over there. These look like nice buildings, I've always thought. I just slowed down so that person could pass me because we were walking at the same pace. And it was like right on my heels, so I was like, no, I'll just let you pass. Canada's National Ballet School, located here. Looks like that guy is heading to the ballet school. Another old mansion. Or he was just taking a shortcut, I guess, going around the ballet school. I've always loved this little block of old historic townhouses here. If you were to take a picture of this and put it on the internet and say, guess which Canadian city this is, I guarantee almost every person would say Montreal. But nope. Toronto also has stuff like this. Maybe not as much as in Montreal, but we do have our fair share. Well, looks like there's not much left of this bike. Alright, so here's Carlton Street. So we did the Sherbourne and Jarvis section of the walk, going north and then south, but now we're heading west. Making my way over to that Shoppers Drug Mart at Yonge and Carlton. We're at Church Street. Despite the frigid weather, quite a few people out and about today. Yonge Street is just up ahead. It's always busy, no matter the weather situation, I find. The Concordia University hockey team here, the Stingers. There's still a rink operating here at the former Maple Leaf Gardens. It's above the Loblaw store. It's the rink for Toronto Metropolitan University. Anything good playing at the Carlton Cinema here? Got some $5 offerings. They always have some older movies playing for $5 there. It's always good to keep an eye on what they have. Lots of these older movies I never actually got a chance to see at the theater for some reason or other. Carlton, and we're just about at Yonge, and the Shoppers Drug Mart is right here on this corner. So I'm going to start to wrap up the walk. Thank you all for joining me on a freezing cold walk, going first north on Sherbourne Street, from around Gerrard up into Bloor Street, and then a short jog to the west over to Jarvis to head back south again along two major downtown Eastside streets that never really had the best of reputations over the years. And then we made our way west along Carlton here to Yonge, where I'm going to head inside and get some protein powder. So thanks for watching. As I said, be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal as well as via my merch store. And you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. So thanks again for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue. But now, let's see if I can just take us in to the protein powder without getting noticed by security. I'm not too sure where the protein powder is. I know it's in one of these aisles around this general area. It's not there. It's not there. And there it is.